Hello everybody! So I am back with the cheapest functional sword on Amazon, which is this baby, and I had the chance to do a little bit of test cutting. So as I'm talking, I'm going to add that into the background so you guys can take a look at it. These are my thoughts. So I did not do a whole lot of test cutting with it, and that is because it's not super sharp to begin with. It does have kind of an edge, but it's inconsistent. And the second reason is because it is not that fun to cut with, at least the way that it is currently. If you sharpen it up, it might be a little bit more fun. Now, in my experience, cutting with it one hand felt super awkward, and that is because it is heavy. It feels heavy for a couple of reasons. One, the profile taper, there is a little bit of it, but it's not very much. And then distal taper, there's basically none. So that leads to the sword feeling pretty dang heavy. Now, profile taper is basically how much mass it has here at the beginning of the blade, and then how much you have going all the way to the tip. The distal taper is how much mass you have going this way, all the way out. What also lends to the fact that it feels super clunky is because the handle is very large and round. And so it's very hard to index where the edge is going. Just in my experience, using it one-handed felt super uncomfortable in the wrist, felt super uncomfortable in the elbow, and so just wasn't that fun. However, when you switch to two hands, it's actually pretty manageable. It's not that bad, pretty easy to cut with. Now, as you'll see in the test cutting, it's able to get through a 1 gallon jug of water fairly easily, and that is with it being fairly dull. And the 1 gallon jug of water might look impressive to some people, but actually the easiest target to cut. And that is because it has enough mass that it doesn't really move when it gets hit, but the plastic is also really thin. So it's actually a little bit more difficult to cut the little water bottles than it is to cut the big water jug. If you just wanted to buy it to do that type of backyard cutting, if you're cutting gallon jugs, you're going to have no problem. The water bottles themselves, in its current form, which I have to say is inconsistently sharpened, you can get through the water bottles if you hit it hard enough, but as you'll be able to see, it looked more like the water bottles were exploding because of the impact rather than being cut. If this is sharpened up, I'm sure it would perform better. If you wanted to actually turn this into a fun, usable project sword, one thing I'd recommend doing is taking off the leather wrap here, which I don't think is going to be too difficult, just removing these. And then I would sand down that wood, something that where you can just feel the edge a little bit more and maybe make it a little bit thinner. In its current state, not a super fun cutter, but for $40, definitely serviceable, and you'd be able to get through 1 gallon jugs, no problem. I did try getting a very basic $9 Walmart V sharpeners. I tried doing that a couple of times to one of the edges, but because the edge is so inconsistent, it didn't actually touch up the edge at all. It stayed more or less the same. The other thing too that I noticed on this sword, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. It's not super noticeable, but there's just a little bit of a bend there. But again, right, for $40, not that bad. A question that came up is if the sword was peened or threaded. I believe somebody in the comments said it was threaded, which surprises me because you guys might be able to see here that it looks like, I don't know if you're going to be able to catch that. It looks like there is a peen mark here, like it was hammered down. It's kind of hard to tell because of the color. Maybe you guys can just make it out right there. So to my eye, it looks peened. Of course, I have not disassembled it. Sometimes the peen marks are hard to spot. On this one, it should be pretty easy because there's a peen block here, and then you'll be able to see where the peen was hammered down. It looks like there is a peen on here as well. Now, why did I buy this sword in the first place? One part was curiosity because I was like, what the heck is a $40 functional sword going to look like? And the other part was because I was going to give it away as part of a white elephant. Now you might be asking, Luke, why do you still have this sword if you were going to give it away as a white elephant gift? And I will tell you, it is because my new baby son has been sick, and so I have not been sleeping well. And so I slept through the white elephant thing. And so I did not end up giving this sword away. So what am I going to do with this sword? I could turn it into a project sword for myself and try and do things with it. However, I just don't really have the desire to do that. So instead, if you want this sword, just go down and post in the comments below that you want it. It's going to be free of charge. The only thing that I ask is that you subscribe, leave the comment saying that you like it, and I'm going to pick a subscriber that wants the sword, and I will send it to them for free. You won't even have to pay shipping. And that'll just be a thank you to you for being subscribed. And then I would just ask that once you get the sword, send me a picture saying that you got it, and then we'll put it in the community tab post, a picture of you with the sword, and then everyone will know that you got it. So yeah, that's the super plan with this sword. If you want to, just post down below, and we'll get in contact. Have a good one.